Right. Thank you, Jill. And wow, wasn't that a fascinating session that we've just had on podcasts? I'm a little bit nervous now to be following Anne because I have a podcast and I don't think it's ticking a few of the boxes that were shared. So I need to quickly go back and fix it. But we're here just to share a little bit about me. And Jill asked me to focus on how I got to be doing what I'm doing and my passion. And one thing that was shared that really resonated was the start of the journey, which is really identifying your ideal client. And that is my passion. That's what I do. That's what I love helping people with, because I think that's the start of any marketing journey, whether it's podcast or writing a book or a website or copy or anything you do that's marketing. The more time you spend in really getting under the skin of the person who wants, needs, and can afford what you have to offer. For me, it's those three things. They want, they need, and they can afford you. The rest of it's easy because they'll come running towards you instead of you chasing them. And so that's where I spend a lot of my time helping people really dig deep under the skin of the target client. And my podcast, which is called Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. Don't look at it, Anne. But it's called that because that's exactly what it is if you have steak, don't bother trying to sell it to a giraffe. They're not going, doesn't matter what you do. You can do a dance, you can sing, you can bribe them. It doesn't matter what you do. You are never going to get that giraffe to eat your steak. Rather go and find lions that are going to come rushing at you. All you have to do is hold it in the air. And that's really what I believe is if you find the right client who wants what you have, you don't even have to work hard. You just stand there waving and they'll come running. So that is my passion. I jumped to the end. Sorry, Jill. But it really resonated beautifully with what Anne said earlier in terms of just getting that right. And that is where I focus. So my background. So I am South African. You may tell from my accent. I am not Australian. Just putting it out there. But we've been in the UK 10 years now. And in South Africa, I worked as a bodyguard. Now, it's not common, I will say that, but I wanted to go to university and we couldn't afford it. And so I needed a job that I could do at night and after hours so that I could study in the daytime. And so it felt like a logical fit when the opportunity arose. I will admit that at the time, it was not a popular choice for a woman. I was only in my 20s at the time. My father was not overjoyed. I'm the eldest of 3 daughters, so that didn't go down well with my dad either. But for me, it was all about logic. I need a job that I can do at night after hours so that I could study in the daytime, and it paid for my studies. Now, I will say that as a bodyguard, it was not a bouncer. Okay, so a lot of people think it's bouncer, you know, the guys that stand at nightclubs and kick you out when you're drunk. That's not what I did. It's more around, if you think of the movie Bodyguard with Whitney Houston, maybe some of the younger people in the group are not aware of that movie, but it's more like the Kevin Costner in that. So close protection officer is another word. So a lot of my work was one-to-one. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. We started with 6 of us on training. I was the only girl. Training was 6 months long, intensive full-time training. And we did everything from bomb detection, advanced driving, armed combat, unarmed combat. Yeah, just, and a lot of research. Research is a big part of the job. And I was very happy to have passed at the end. Now, a few things that got me from bodyguard to marketing is it's a natural fit. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it really is. When I was a bodyguard, I worked as a bodyguard for 9 years. I can proudly say that I never lost a client. That's good in the bodyguard world. And I never got injured myself. So that's a win. Because being a bodyguard, the preparation is everything. If you have a job, well, let me explain what a female bodyguard will do. Mostly you are accompanying some gentleman to a fancy dinner. Okay. The whole purpose being that you blend in. You look like the secretary or the girlfriend or something. And you blend in. Because if they wanted a bodyguard that's walking behind them, think Simon Cowell has two massive bodyguards that you can see they're bodyguards because he wants preventative measures. But a lot of businessmen, executives, they don't want a signpost over their head going, look at me, I have a bodyguard. They just want to feel protected. And so that's where I came in. And so a lot of my work was, let's say, a dinner, Saturday night dinner with my clients. The whole week I'd spend preparing. So if you think, divide the job into three parts, there's a pre, then there's the actual job, and then there's post. And 80% of my work was the pre-work. And if I did the pre-work well, the actual job went without a hitch. No one got hurt. Everything worked well. And the post was irrelevant because it was just, here's my bill, pay me my money. Thank you. And we're all good to go. Now, marketing is exactly the same. If we do 80% of the work in the pre and we really plan what we're doing, the actual campaign or the actual marketing will go without a hitch. And then the post work is actually just reeling in the clients and taking their money, right? Right, really works well. Now, let's think about what I did in the pre-work. So the first thing I had to do really well was understand my clients. Now, this may not sound obvious, but I do need to know if they're going to faint if they see a gun, right? Why? Because my job is to get them safely. So if they're going to faint, I need to know, do I need to drag them out? Do I need to carry them? You know, what do I need to do? I need to know if they're going to scream. Are they going to, I don't know, what their reaction is likely to be. Are they social? Are they likely to get drunk? Okay. Are they going to just, I'm going to have to carry them home because they can't stand up by the end of the evening? Are they quiet? They're just going to sit quietly in the corner. So I do a lot of work understanding my target clients, not my client that I'm protecting, as to how they're going to react in whatever situation. The second part I then spend time doing is investigating the attacker. Now, again, you could have all sorts of attackers. They could like fanfare. So last week I was in Manchester and there was some protesters. And so, see, my eyes all perk up at all these things. I think it's fun. But there were protesters, but they were peaceful protesters. They had a little stand and they had some guitars and they sang a song and they handed out flyers, right? So in that scenario, there's not a lot of prep I need to do. I once protected a furrier and his attackers liked throwing red paint. That was their modus operandi. Again, don't have to be too worried about a bit of red paint, but you may get attackers who like bombs or knives or guns. Do they like fanfare, or are they just going to quietly slip in and drop some poison in the food? And this is what you need to understand because you need to prepare for that. Once you understand the clients, you understand the attacker, you then understand the building we're going to go in. If we're going for dinner, I need to know every entrance exit, where the loos are, all the places somewhere could hide. What's the staff like that they hire? Do they just get in, temps off the street, or what do they do? And the reason I need to know that again is preparation. Again, if you ever go out with me, within 5 seconds, I can probably tell you where the loos are because I do it on automatic pilot now. So a lot of my friends love hanging out with me because I always can find the loos. But, it's just something that I do without thinking now. And then the last thing is the route. If I'm picking up my client and taking him to the dinner and then back home again, I have to drive that route many, many times, find alternatives. Are there places we can be blocked? Is there roadworks? Is there some construction where they could be hiding? What's plan B, plan C, plan D? So if I do a whole week of research, all my plans in place, guess what? The evening's going to be beautiful. Client won't even know I'm there. Everyone's going to be happy. No one dies. Really great. Now, marketing is exactly the same. And through this Bodyguard experience, I got a passion for the research, hence my business, The Marketing Detective, because it's all about that. If you think about your target audience, who are they? When are they, right? Where are they? What channel do they use? Are they, and the example I give, and if you listen to my 10-minute teach, I think I use this example, but if your target audience is pensioners and they're on Facebook. Yes, pensioners on Facebook. Great. But what are they doing on Facebook? They're there to look at pictures of their grandkids. They're not there to buy. So you also need to get that combination right. Think about the sweet aisle in grocery stores. The reason they put that close to the tills is a reason. They've figured out that, guess what? While you're standing in the queue waiting to pay, you're going to look at the little sweets or the chocolate or whatever, and you're probably going to go, ooh, and stick it in your basket. It's done for a reason. And this is all marketing. They've understood their target client. So the same with your target client. Think about, when are they in the right mindset to buy from you? Right? For me, and I'm a mom, I've got 2 kids, they're teenagers now, my daughter's writing GCSEs. Don't try and sell to me in the morning when I'm trying to get them ready for school, make sure they've got their PE kit, make sure they've got all that stuff. If you try and get hold of me that time of the day, you've lost me. Okay, I'm not. In fact, if you want to sell to me, the best time, and my kids will tell you this, is probably 2 a.m. when I'm aimlessly scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. I do a lot of my buying then. Oh, we've got some more in the room, because that's when I'm relaxed. I don't have the pressure of the day on my head. And then oh, that looks nice. And I have bought quite a few weird and wonderful things at 2 in the morning because their message was right and it got me at the right time. So when is it your target client is in the right headspace to buy? Is such an important thing. And you need to just think this through. This is work, right? That week of work that I did as a bodyguard beforehand was work. It's not 5 minutes, Google it and it'll pop up. ChatGPT will tell me, hey, ChatGPT, what do I need to know about my target client? You need to really get into their brains. But once you do that work, every decision becomes really, really cool. Now, how I got from bodyguard into marketing is, I don't know, maybe it's a romantic story. When I was a bodyguard, my then boyfriend thought it was lovely. He would proudly go and tell all his friends about his girlfriend, the bodyguard. But once we got married, he said, oh, it's a little bit different laying in bed at night wondering if your wife is going to die tonight. So can we maybe think of another job? Which I did say, I wish we'd discussed it before we got married because I really did like it, but it made sense. And then, of course, once I had kids, it's a whole different ball game because it is a dangerous job. It's not a fun job. Well, I loved it, but anyway. So that's how I moved. And marketing felt like the automatic transition in terms of what I need to do to really dig down into the target client. So that is my background and my story. And I still have a passion. That's exactly what I do, my passion. I offer 30 minutes if anyone wants to just have a chat about drilling deep into your target client. 30 minutes, no obligation. Come and talk to me. I love talking marketing. I will tell you, I'm a little bit of a drill sergeant. I will ask questions. That's what I do. I ask questions and ask questions. Because that's what I need to do. You know your target client and your product better than I ever will. So my job is to get it out of you. You know, who do you like to work with? Who don't you like to work with? And we spend time digging into that to come up with the sweet spot. Right, Jill, I think that's my time. Are there any questions?